Hello. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you for watching. If you're new here, I'm Nozipho Tshabalala, also known as BWN official on all my social media platforms. In this channel, we do vlogs, lifestyle, beauty content, as well as a little bit of traveling. To my returning subbies, thank you so much for stopping back by. You really much appreciate it. And if you're new here and you like what you see, please don't leave without subscribing, as well as turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a video. And please don't forget to go and follow me on my social media platforms, Instagram as well as TikTok as BWN official. So in today's video, I'm gonna take you to a function that I went to. It's 2 weeks later, but I'm still wearing the same dress that I wore the last time, so don't be alarmed. I'm gonna take you through, because I didn't have an intro. I woke up very late because the event started at 8 and ended at 5, so we woke up a bit, not really late, but I didn't have time for the intro because we were preparing with my husband. So I went to the brunch with Nima 2024, which it's been around the block for 5 years, but today it's the last brunch with Nima. We'll never have a last brunch with Nima. It was a closing brunch, which is hosted by Nozipho Tshabalala. So this brunch is about women empowerment. So they're empowering women on how to be better at work, how to be better in your business, and how to be better at home and your overall well-being. So the previous brunches, it was all about women and the speakers were women. So in this last brunch, they also invited males. So there were men around, also men speakers, also men who attended the brunch, so that the men can also put in their views in business, lifestyle, as well as in their workplaces. So our speakers is Nozipho Tshabalala. Nozi, it's a first speaker. I wrote some notes here in my book, which is the book I got from Brunch with Nima. It's written here. There's an embroidering that says Brunch with Nima here. The first speaker is Nozipho Tshabalala, which you can follow on Instagram as The Real Nozi, which she'll be talking about the strategies for measuring growth. The second speaker is Lincoln Mali, which he'll be talking about blazing a trail, lessons for African leadership. African leadership, 5-step to leadership, new frontier in entrepreneurial innovation. And then the third speaker is Sibam Tongana. She'll be talking about how to find harmony in work and how to balance your work life, your personal life, as well as your well-being as an overall. And then we're going to have a women panel as well as the men panel. So yeah guys, I thought I should share this event because I think that you will take good tips. You will definitely have tips that you're gonna take and implement in your life, in your work, as well as in your business. So I hope you're going to enjoy. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to comment, as well as like the video, as well as share the video. This video guys, it's very long. Let me put a disclaimer, it's a very long. I took so much content, so when I was editing, I saw this was too much, like 2-3 hours, actually 4-5 hours of the content, so I had to cut it, and then I think it's gonna be 45 minutes to an hour, because I had to cut it by speaker, so that at least you don't get overwhelmed with a lot of information and so many hours. So today you'll be watching part 1 of Brunch with Nima, and I hope you're going to enjoy, and also stay tuned for part 2.
limitless possibilities that await when we dare to dream, to aspire.
We wanted to engage with each other in meaningful and critical conversations. We wanted to grow from each other and wanted to transform each other's lives. And I can safely confirm to you that the branches with Noma has impacted about 380 lives over the past 4 years. So can we please think about Nozipho coming to us about your strategies for measuring growth. I honestly was taken back to a place where I once found myself stumped. When people come up to me and say, Nozipho, how do you know that the conversation you're moderating actually is going to have an impact? How do you measure the fact that you're actually making a difference? And time again, as I got that question, I was stumped and I couldn't get to the answer. Because it's easy if you're manufacturing bottles, right? Growth is in the volume of bottles. The more you manufacture, the more you're growing, and maybe you even start to export, right? Even the services industry is not so bad. You can literally count the number of beds that your guests have occupied in a given period for you to be able to know whether you're growing or not. And to be quite honest, I think I was stuck in this vortex myself for quite a long time. Because I thought, if I'm booked and busy, right? In fact, there's another thing we add, we say, booked and busy and blessed. Right? That means I'm growing, and that means I'm moving in the right direction. But here's the kicker. Volume, rather, is a really great strategy for getting started. It is not a good strategy for sustaining growth over time.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you get started, you need every single opportunity that's given to you to learn, to build muscle, to calibrate your craft, and to keep getting better. Malcolm Gladwell, I think, calls it the 10,000 hours. Right? But then what happens after 10,000 hours? What happens when you are already really good at what you do? Do you still chase, and I hate this word, I hope we never use it again, gigs? Because if you call it a gig, you're reducing your gift to a gig, but we'll talk about that. And so I realized that I needed to change the metric, that I can't use volume as a measure of growth or success. I needed to shift it to value. So I had to ask myself, but Nozipho, what is value exactly? And the first thing about value is that it's actually got nothing to do with you. Value is not about you. It's not about the number of stages, it's not about the number of clients, it's not about the number of things that you're doing. It is how your clients perceive what you have done and what you have delivered. So the first invitation to value is to decenter yourself and get out of your own way. And if you think about it, just for a second, value is actually the invitation to purpose. Purpose is how your outward expression of your work makes impact in the world. It is not about you. So, if you want to get closer to finding your purpose, and I'm saying inverted commas because it's a whole different conversation, because you don't find your purpose, it's already there, you just need to connect with it. Get out of your own way. Get away from volume. Move closer to value. Decenter yourself and ask for the people whom I'm serving through my purpose, what is important to them? The second metric, if we're going to break boundaries today, is seeding before harvesting. But we know this one. We've seen it in the Bible, we talk about it all the time. We know that we've got to seed before harvesting, right? But we don't like it. Because think about it. Who's ever seen anybody on the cover of Forbes because they've been celebrated for the idea they're still working on and nobody's seen the house of it yet? We don't celebrate and don't is that the quality of your seed determines the quality of your harvest. I often get, especially young people in my DMs, oh, Nozipho, can I share with you? I just want to be around you, and I just think your work is amazing. And when I prod and I ask questions, I realize that what they actually mean is, no, I want to be on flights, I want to travel destinations, I want to be passport gang, I want rooms, I want videos, I want nice outfits, I want makeup. That is 10% of the work that I do. 90% is invisible and unseen work. And some of that invisibility sits in the seeding of living. I leave. Because this Monday, I leave to go to Geneva to go and talk about occupational health and safety in global supply chains. I leave Geneva on Wednesday to go to Oxford for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to go talk about philanthropic giving on the African continent. The next week, I go to the spring meetings to go talk about energizing Africa and making sure that renewable energy is a reality for the 600 million Africans who don't have electricity. Do you understand how much reading of each of those things has to take place in order for me to stand with this much confidence that you see now in front of a room of experts? Nobody is going to see you in those reading moments. Those moments they're not on stage. They're not on camera. They're not in visibility. So remember, the quality of your seed determines the quality of what you will deliver. So the thing you should be measuring is the quality of your preparation. And I know that it's not easy to always choose to prepare excellently. We just want to deliver excellently, right? It's such a nice idea that you just come onto the stage and it just happens. And it doesn't. You have to choose to prepare excellently. And it's hard work. And when I get tired, I go back to two stories. The first story is about a sculptor, so the guys that make sculptures, who takes down a sculpture because it has a crack on the arm, but a crack that's invisible to the naked eye. And as he's doing that, a tourist walks in and says, complete waste of money, complete waste of effort. Why would you take that down? Nobody can see that there's a scratch on the arm of that sculpture. And the sculptor responds and says, I know. Nobody else knows. I know. So my invitation to you today is, when you choose the quality of the seed, remember it's about you choosing excellence and not because anybody else can see it. Whether they see it or not is neither here nor there. What I am saying is, do the invisible work, do the hard work, whether the stadium is full or empty.
Yeah.
Right? What I am saying is, be committed to finishing what you've started.
Wow.
Even if it means pivoting along the way. Even if it means learning lessons and then applying them differently. That is growth.
Yeah.
I finished what I started. Did I learn something along the way? Yes. Did I finish where I wanted to? Maybe not. But am I better for having gone through the experience? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always talk about the work of Ryan Holiday. He says the struggle is the way. In the absence of struggle, there's no breakthrough. So if you want to get better at something, you've got to submit yourself to the struggle of getting there and breaking there. And if you just keep doing things excellently with no struggle, guess what? You're not growing. So, substance of warfare, lecture number 3. And this one is hard, especially in a room full of women, and especially in a room full of black women. Because here it is. One of the ways in which we know that we're growing in our leadership is when we start getting invited to boards, right? Because when you get an invitation to a board, it is evidence of people saying, your growth in leadership is so distinctive that we believe that your insights and your experience could help us run our organization even better, right? And so we take that and we're like, okay, a sign of growth is sitting on boards. Fair enough. I sit on a number of boards, I sit on a board of an organization based out of New York. I've just been appointed to a board of a listed company here. I've just been appointed as a chairperson of a leadership and development company on the continent. And so I too recognize and resonate with this idea that a part of my role in leadership is evidence in words. So where does substance over form fit in? The accountants in the room will tell you that substance over form is a definition, which means that to get the true value of a company's health, you not only need to look at the form, which is the legally reported transactions, but you need to look at the substance of the company, which is the company and all its transactions in totality, to make a call whether this company is fit financially or not. In English, and for us, like me, who are not accountants. Substance over form means this. You will be invited to boards as a woman, as a black woman, as a young woman, because our affirmative action policies in the country have created the space to do that. But there's a lot of women. There's a lot of black women. There's a lot of young black women. And so your form, your fact that you're a woman, the fact that you're black, the fact that you're young is not going to count. It's not enough. What are you looking for?
Substance.
It's substance. So when you are in the room, what does it mean to show up with substance over form? It starts with how you walk into the room. Yes. Because you've chosen a quality seat and yet you are more prepared than anybody else. If board pack in a corner, right? You know the board pack inside out. You've taken the time to engage industry leaders to help you understand the things even you don't understand, so that you can advise from a point of knowledge. Yeah. You are so prepared that the chairperson is happy to say, would you like to lead the meeting? When you speak, your voice moves the needle. Because you start off by speaking from a place of chutzpah. You trust your gut. You trust what you have to say because you've done the work. And if you haven't done the work, you can only rely on your form. Yeah. And here's the thing. So many other people have the form. So you do the preparation. You go over and beyond. You take down the scouter and you replace it with something more excellent. Right? You show up with substance of the form. But more than that, and I get in trouble for this, so please forgive me. When you're in the room, it's not enough to occupy space. Hello. It's not enough. We've got to expand space. We've got to reconfigure the table so that there's more seats that can sit at that table. We have to create the pathway for others to follow. We have to widen the gates so more people can follow after you. That's what people with substance show up as. Because if they were showing up with form, the most important thing would be, I am the only black woman. I am the only. But because of the substance, they are able to not only redesign the agenda, but they're able to reconfigure the table altogether. So, it's your substance. It's not your form. And if you're going to grow, and if you're going to break through boundaries, you better start focusing on your substance. And just remember that your form is the same as millions of other women out there who have the exact same opportunity. How you're going to distinguish yourself is through substance. I like this one. Bullets before cannonballs. So, this concept comes from Jim Collins in his book, Huge Great. And Jim Collins says, before you take out your cannonball, your bazooka, and you shoot at the target and do this thing that you've been meaning to do all your life, take the time to find fire some bullets first. And he uses an incredible story. He says, imagine you're at sea and you're under attack by another warship, and you've got bullets and you've got one cannon. If you take the cannonball as that ship is approaching and you shoot at the warship and you miss, most likely you're going to be defeated and you're going to die. But if you take the first bullet and you shoot, you look up, you check how far you are from target, you calibrate, you take another bullet, and then you shoot a little bit closer, and you keep going, you keep calibrating, you keep iterating, and you keep getting closer to your target. And then when you're feeling that you have some degree of certainty that you're going to hit the target, that's when you take out the cannonball, and that's when you shoot the cannonball. If you think about the iPhone was the cannonball. The bullets were the iPod. So in 2001, Apple introduced the iPod, and it was this amazing thing, 1,000 songs on a small device. And then in 2002, they shot another bullet, they calibrated, shot another bullet. They said, what if we increase storage? What if we make it slimmer? And then in 2005, they shot another bullet and said, what if we give it color? What if we allow people to share songs? And then only when they felt certain did the iPhone become the replacement of the iPod. Today we think about, it's almost nonsensical that we have a separate device for music when we listen to music on our phone. But it started actually with the iPod. So what is the thing that I want you to take from this, and how does this relate to growth? There is no shame on working on small ideas. There is no shame on focusing. Say Hamdi, it's okay. There is no shame in focusing on the things that other people might not think are big enough right now, or incredible enough, but if you know that that's my bullet, and all I'm doing is I'm shooting the bullet, I'm taking in the feedback, I'm calibrating on the back of that feedback, and I'm going to shoot again, because boy will you be surprised when I shoot my cannonball. Even ideas that are born big, because we dream big, start with small beginnings. Do not be ashamed of working on your small beginnings. And what happens if you do that intentionally, if you shoot bullets over cannonballs? Firstly, you have a lot more comfort around, why am I doing this right now? Other people might not understand. Why should not just growing in? You know that you're trying to shoot a bullet and that your cannonball will come. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you're not running a business, why am I choosing this job now before applying for that job? Because you know the skill that you're trying to get right now.
Yeah.
You know the reputation you're trying to build right now. You know the brand that you're building up right now. So that by the time you go and shoot your cannonball, it's a given that it is yours. But if we think that everything that we do must be an absolute disruptor and make everything that came before us and completely displace everything, we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. Growth is not a luck event. It's a managed process. Growth is not you don't get lucky when you grow. It's a managed process. So, my last and final metric. Significance over success. About 10 years ago, I was invited to a leadership program called the Young African Leadership Initiative. And this idea of significance over success was seeded for me. And the idea is simply this. We all want to be successful. When we grow up, we begin to paint images of what success might look like for us. For others, it's a certain number in the bank account. For others, maybe it's assets like property and cars or whatever you consider an asset. For others, it's just running a happy home and making sure that your family is whole and happy. But we all have this personal vision of what success means to us. And here's the thing, success is about you. Success is about counting your achievements. Success is about measuring the things that are important to you. Significance, on the other hand, is being able to live a life where at the end of the day, you sleep peacefully knowing that because I lived my life authentically today, somebody is going to say, because Nozi said, because Nozi did, I am better off for it. And it's not about becoming the heroes of other people's stories. It's not about going out and doing for people, but it is about being conscious that your life is both the light and the shadow. And that when you show up in your light, you give people permission to go and do the things that scare them the most. When you show up in your light, when you stand up and you say, I am a conversation strategist, and you see people writing back to you and saying, thank you for giving a name to the thing I knew I was doing. And it's just you living your life. But because you lived, somebody else has been given permission to go be a hero in their own story. And the problem with this idea, and we like the idea of, oh, look, it sounds nice, but it's hard to do. And this is why. The first thing that comes to us is like, okay, Nozi, I'm going to be significant, but not now. So, because right now, I'm busy with my success. And then when I finish with my success, then we're going to be significant. Don't got engaged. Right? Yeah. And here's the thing. There's no such place at arriving at success. I come from a very poor family, and a lot of people probably know my background. I used to think that being the first one to go to university in my family would be success. And then I didn't. And then I used to think, okay, being the first one in my family to have a master's degree is success. And then I didn't. And then I said, okay, being the first person in my family to have a second master's degree is going to be success. And then I didn't. And do you get my flow? The road to success is actually never reached. So you can't have this idea that your first half of your life is going to be success, and then the second half of your life is going to be significance. If you are living your life purposefully, value over volume, right? Seeding before harvesting, bullets before cannonballs, substance over form, you will live a life of significance. Because people will look at you as the blueprint. You will become the template of how it is done. And because of you, people will say, because Nozi lived, I was given the code on how to do this and how to do that. Right? The other problem with this equation is that despite the fact that we want to leave significance for the second half of our lives, we also think, yeah, but it's significant. It takes time. You see the time, the resources, the money. Significance is for people who made it. Rich people who have time, who sit on boards, who are magazine covers, who maybe have big portfolios in their organizations. I'm still busy building with the little bit that I have. And we reduce the idea of significance to a transactional substance. You are significant from the day you were born. You are significant from the day you were born. The challenge is to see yourself as significant. And once you see yourself as significant, you walk in your significance. And so as I close, I want to say this. When I go to bed every night, I don't really care what I've achieved for myself. That's not my measure of success. I know that I'm growing when I get feedback from people, grateful for the fact that I have lived in this era, in this time when they were alive. That's the true essence of growth. So, when you live in significance, my final point on this, you will be successful. Significance breeds success. So, I hope that today, as you grapple and wrestle with the ideas of what does growth look like, how do I measure my impact, How do I know I'm walking in my life? How do I know I'm on the right track? How do I know that I'm walking in my North Star? That you give yourself permission to take a step back and to consider, where might I have prioritized volume instead of value? How can I change that? In what moments might I have relied on my form and mistakenly thought that that was enough?
Yeah.
And that, so how do I begin to walk in my substance from here on? Where are my bullets? What are my bullets? And how do I manage my growth so that it doesn't catch me by surprise? It's a managed process and I know where I'm going next. Right? So that even the things that you see, you know that what you're measuring is the quality of your seed, not the applause, not the celebration and award that comes with your hearts, because that's a given. Because in the same way, if we do all of those things, we walk in this place, and I can almost guarantee you, my life is testament of it, you will be successful. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
So we take questions. We are ready for the questions.
Yes, thank you so much for that presentation. I know I learned quite a bit. You mentioned the book under the strategy of bullets and cannonballs. Can you please repeat the title and the author? Thank you.
Awesome. Jim Collins, Good to Great. Good to Great. And the other book that I mentioned, which is about struggles or breakthroughs, is by Ryan Holiday, that's spelled R-Y-A-N, and it's called The Struggle is the Way. I think it's a very good book as well. I think there was one final question.
No, there was one question. One more question. Oh, Julie.
Thank you so much. Well, gossiping about you, about how beautiful you are, and how humble you are, and how smart you are. You made me think of this quote, and I want to ask you my question afterwards. Our human capacity for narrative sense-making means we create our sense of continuity and change, stability and instability as a single movement of living experience.
Sure. Who said that?
Dorothy Main, she is a narrative coach. And my question for you is, you presented these opposites. And the single living experience is that many times we are both. And we have won such success. But I'm sure there are parts of you that are still growing. We experience disappointment. And we experience challenge. So what is it that you do that makes you resilient?
Sure, what a beautiful question. What do I do that makes me resilient? So it's probably, I'd say, 3 things. The first one is to allow myself to be brought to ground. My favorite poet, David White, and for those who follow me, I talk about David White like all the time. But his surname is spelled W-H-Y-T-E, if you're interested. David White talks about allowing yourself to come to ground. And the root of the word ground comes from the Greek word humus, or humus. And the root of the word humility comes from the same word, humus. And so in moments where life has brought you down to ground, where life has humbled you, and is asking you to show up with humility in a particular moment, that's where the lesson and the gift lies. So my practice is that in the face of failure, and I have many, is to remind myself that I am being invited to go back to ground. I'm being invited to a space where my humility is being invited so that I can actually hear what the lesson is. I can hear what the moment is here to teach me. Because if I don't exercise humility, I probably then externalize the reason for failure. Oh, it didn't work because the client. Oh, it didn't work because the technical team. Or whatever the case may be. But when you step into failure with humility and allow yourself to come to ground, follow to Jesus. The second thing that I do, because it's not always easy to come to ground, it's not always easy when you fail, is to make sure that I tune into the conversations with those that I trust the most. To remind you of who I am. And one of those people is my husband, who will remind me that, yeah, you failed, but hold on. Let's look at the greater picture. Because sometimes the conversation itself is so full of the negativity of the moment of failure. You need another voice to come in and to say, hey, do you know who you are? So the only thing I'm going to say to this is, hey guys, it matters who you met. The person you choose to do life with is the closest secondary voice to your own. And when you are failing, what that person says is so important. So be careful who you take your failure to. And if you have a gift next to you, in the way that I think my husband is a gift to me, turn to that person and say, oh, I failed at this, and allow them to help you redirect the conversation. The last thing is with life, don't laugh, just bear with me. Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, they have this song, guys, and there's a lyric in that song that says, we were moving mountains long before we knew we could. This mountain is going to move because the mountain before that moved, and the mountain before that moved, and I'm going to move it. Because my mother moved it, my grandmother moved it, everybody before me moved it. So, honestly speaking, my resilience comes from a deep conviction that I've been moving mountains long before I knew I could. And that's the thing that gives me the ability to push through. And if you can believe that of yourself, that you are capable of learning anything, and therefore capable of doing anything, a challenge is an invitation. A challenge is an opportunity to break through. And when you come back, good luck to that challenge, because that mountain is going to move.
To acknowledge the main sponsor of the event, which is Ziana Group. Ziana Group is a company that I founded in 2016 and started as Ziana Business Consulting and Training, and has now merged into 3 entities, which are Ziana Technologies, Ziana Business Consulting and Training, Ziana Foundation, which the leg of women empowerment is under. We are going to acknowledge that sponsor, because I'd like to believe I am not Ziana Group, I am not all of those Zianas. Ziana is just my employer, and I am employing an employee of Ziana. So can you please acknowledge Ziana Group?
Innovation and growth. Introducing Ziana Group, a beacon of bespoke professional services, pioneering the future of business solutions and technology across the continent. At Ziana Group, we are more than just consultants. We're partners in progress. Our ethos, people-centered, solutions-driven, and technology-inclined. With our cutting-edge AI-powered HR digital technology and a commitment to customer success, we empower organizations to unlock the unlimited potential of their people and optimize operational processes in a rapidly evolving work landscape where talent is seeking control and new concepts like fractional talent are emerging. Ziana Group stands ready to navigate the challenges and seize the opportunities. Rooted in sub-Saharan Africa with a strong presence across multiple countries including Kenya, Nigeria, Mozambique, and more, Ziana Group is dedicated to driving superior business performance across the region.